Don't wait till the night before Christmas to be good.
And in 3, 2, 1, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 9 in our 12th podcast of Christmas and episode 97 of the Prehistoric podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois Nation.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
Yggdrasil. Sean. I'm Sean Mendez. Is he beautiful,
No,
girl?
Sean Mendez is in stitches until I can't bleed. Taking it falling onto my knees.
And
now
I'll
that I'm
be
without your kisses, I'll be needing stitches.
on the ninth podcast of Christmas.
Oh.
On the ninth
That's how Santa
podcast.
does it.
On the ninth
Podcast
podcast
of Christmas, Prehistoric just drank for me 9 greasy slut pups.
Andrew, why don't you give us a little background on these?
Um,
Like the history of the slut pop.
That's like I heard that only through the boys. I never heard that term before. So it seems like a Cabry thing or a rural Saskatchewan thing. That
So I guess where Andrew grew up, they called this
Caps, these are excellent.
slut pop.
Slut pop.
Because what a
Sluts.
sluts drink? Men or women? Not a gender specific term. Zim, zers, men, women.
Zeeks. So anyway, it's
If you're
cheap.
promiscuous,
It's a cheap bottled 7% alcohol beverage.
Has to be 7%?
Yeah. And
it has to be cheap.
It has to be cheap and come in plastic 2-liter bottles. It's the best bang for your buck if you're looking to get blown out.
Because you drink.
How much do these cost?
Oh, not very much.
Like I think it was like $15 for both of them, or $20 for both of them.
So you get 4
More
liters.
expensive than I would have thought.
Well, it's 4 liters of 7%.
It's a lot,
alcohol.
yeah, that's true.
What girls would do at Laurier actually.
There's like 6 beer worth of volume in here plus 2 more percent.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting like a case of beer plus like another.
Well, it's 6-pack of beer.
Oh, there's
With 2 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Like with you're getting 12 beer.
like
volume.
right now we have a case of beer here plus another 2% alcohol per one, plus another 24 alcohol, so another 5 beers. So it's like 18 beer in the 2 of these.
What I saw girls do at parties is they would get these together. They would get there would like be 3 or 4 of them, and they'd get a couple bottles of this and then like a Mickey of vodka
and
mix it together.
Now we are drinking because we're a little bit wealthier. We're drinking the premium cider growlers. Growers. I mean, you can get.
Well, it's
Canadian
cooler and it's
Canadian
greasy.
Cooler. So these aren't quite as great. These are for a little bit.
It's a nice label and stuff.
Yeah, this is for a little bit more of a refined pop. Still a plastic 2-liter pop.
Still
bottle.
a slut pop. Still for sluts.
Yeah, and then so this is
I don't know
straw.
which one I want more, the strawberry or
I'm gonna have strawberry rhubarb. So Andrew, how about you? We're gonna drink them out of our fine glass.
Yeah, we might as well just start with the
Let's
strawberry rhubarb.
Start with the
Well,
strawberry.
we can mix. We can mix and match.
Ooh, that's true. Maybe a mixture of the 2 would be good.
Well, let's try this first.
Let's all try this first. We'll have a glass of this.
What a delightful color. Like,
It's
if it was
very
my-
inviting.
if it was my sweet 16, like this is what I want.
It's got a very smell to it too as well. It's very that's good. That's good for 1 glass, Brett. That's good. That's a lot. That's more than double what you guys are drinking. So
Anyway, but it's got that nice rhubarb smell.
You pass me
are you
So we're gonna taste test.
are you rhubarb fans?
I like rhubarb.
Do you like rhubarb?
rhubarb pie, yeah. I mean, like rhubarb pie. Yeah, actually,
Not so much by itself.
I don't know if I ever told this story in the podcast.
Cheers.
Speaking of rhubarb, that was slippery.
It's very sweet.
Back when I lived in
It's so sweet it's sour.
Yeah.
Vancouver, I had this. Speaking of promiscuous, some promiscuous neighbors who, on several occasions, tried to sell me drugs. They're super nice guys. I'll say that.
But love tried it. So
They did. They really like trying to sell me drugs. But one, I remember, I don't know if it was part of a strategy. No, I think he was probably just being a good neighbor. Like I got broken into, which I've talked about on the podcast a couple times. But like right after that event, he I remember he asked me, he's like, hey man, did you get broken into? And I'm like, yeah, I stole a bunch of my shit. And he's like, man, somebody took my PlayStation 3. It's like, if you do a claim, like, you should throw a PlayStation 3 on there. Like, maybe you'll get one. It's like, whatever, okay. And then the guy, like...
to get him a new one?
Yeah, like to replace his... He's just like, just throw a PlayStation 3 on there. So he... The whole thing was, like, they could get through my windows because the latch wasn't very secure. So he sawed me off these nice little pieces of wood so I could keep my window closed. Anyways, and he also then, for, like, every 2 days or so for the next, like, 2 weeks... He grew rhubarb in his backyard and would just be like, "Hey man, here's some rhubarb for you." And I like never used
commit fraud.
Never used any of the rhubarb or anything. But yeah.
Can I top you up, Andrew?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
It's
so sweet.
Do you want a top up though?
No, like you could definitely cut that, like cut booze with it, and you wouldn't. Like this doesn't taste like booze at all.
Mm-mm.
No, yeah, you could mix this half and half with vodka.
Yeah.
To make a sweeter, more pungent beverage. I don't know. My phone fell down. I'm not too worried about it, but
sweeter. Cut it half with vodka. It makes it sweeter.
Yeah, if you want to sweeten it.
A sweeter little treat. If you really like getting banged up.
We love getting banged up here on the podcast. Oh, that fucking 300's turned around. Now, Fran's gonna turn the light.
This is why we need a fucking intern.
Oh, jeez.
That's a New Year's resolution for Prehistoric Productions.
Oh, that's coming right up here.
It is.
There it is. Now we look a little nicer. So,
figure out what it takes.
Fran, what do you think about this beverage in particular?
I don't like the taste of this one.
You're not a rhubarb guy.
No.
I feel like the blackberry one's gonna be
This is not doing it for me.
See how much you can drink in one big gulp.
The problem with that is like the fizziness it'll hurt my throat before I can really do any damage. I mean, I'll give it a go.
He's got those little.
But I mean, like still, it's like this is preferable to like most other alcoholic beverages because like you can't. This tastes like a shitty soda to me. Like that's
It's a very carbonated soda.
Yeah. Let's see here.
So in tradition keeping with tradition of the podcast.
Fizziness.
Obviously, we're doing the drinks thing again.
Oh, they're nice and cold though.
Let's all go through the three of us and try and avoid situations where all three of us are two together or one. The craziest concoctions of alcohol you've
seen,
consumed, or consumed.
Oh.
Seen, consumed?
I have one that wasn't a purposeful thing, and it ties into another story that I've told you. I don't think I've ever told it on the podcast though. So back in high school, before high school, maybe it was from watching American Pie or something, but I had in my head that I needed to like store booze and hide it because I was gonna want booze. Like if I ever threw a party, like it's pretty smart thing, I suppose. But
like steal.
Anyways, I like they would have parties at the house with people over, and they'd like have like the bar out, and I'd go and I would never take full bottles, but you know, like one like actually I had one full bottle just from our Magic Fest because people also brought like people we didn't know brought a bunch of booze and then just left it. I remember like early in the morning I made sure no one was there and just went downstairs and like swept through and like swiped all the partially empty bottles. But then eventually it got to the point where I had too many bottles to I had to like drink some of it. I had to use it because there was too many bottles and I needed to get rid of it because there was nowhere to hide it. I was hiding it I had a wardrobe in my room and there were these shelves and I put the bottles of booze in the back of the shelves and stacked books in front of it. So one day I was back from Luther and kids down the street from me who were like 2 years older than me who like they kind of picked on me a little bit when I was younger and like I mean I did end up shutting that down, a totally separate story, but like they picked on me and they had this kush ball.
I love the kush balls.
But they sat behind me and they like take the little ends of it and fling it right into the back of my ears.
And then it would come back to them and they just whip it again.
No, like just like, you know what the little elastic ends? They take that right behind my ear, pull the little elastic end back, and flick it like it was an elastic band.
Oh,
right
I thought
the
actual kush ball.
No, not the ball, just the little like
the rubber end.
Rubber end. And I remember I was in grade 4 or 5, and I was so upset. I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to get them in trouble, but I didn't want to fight back, so I was going to get in trouble. Anyways, I threatened them. I said, if you do that, I will beat the fuck out of you. And they're like, oh, then you're just going to get in trouble. I'm like, I already talked to my parents. I already talked to my dad. He said, if you fuck with me again, I have his permission to beat the fuck out of you. And then they stopped. Anyways, so I'm trying to impress these people who kind of I had this history with. And they're like, yeah, like, we had having this bonfire. And they're like, yeah, like, you should, like, we need booze. And they
try and score some booze for us.
Yeah, so I said, I have booze. Like, we need some more booze. We've been passing around a bottle of whiskey. I'd also had way too much of that. I was trying to impress them. And hadn't stood up. So I stood up and I'm like, I am so drunk. Went back, finally, I go back to my house and trying to figure out what to bring, something I could sneak out and sneak back into their backyard. And so I see a smaller, like, not a Mickey, but, like, you know, like the weird boozes that have, like,
weird
smaller size.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be tequila. And I poured a little bit of tequila because I smelled it and I don't want that. Didn't really rinse the bottle or make sure that I poured it out because I was drunk. And then poured scotch into the tequila bottle. And
tequila.
Like, yeah. So I brought that back to the fire and we passed that around. It was god awful. I don't really remember because what happened after that, only from people telling me. But apparently, I like puked a bunch. Like my neighbors, my friend, and neighbor had to like walk me home and like bring me whatever. They had cigars from Cuba that they brought back, and like I smoked the wrong end of the cigar and had like after it was lit, and had like a burnt lip from like blistered lip from this, and to this like I used to not be able to drink tequila at all, and I think it was because of the Scotch Keela.
Yeah.
Combination of just hard liquor, no mix.
No.
Just passing around Thanksgiving when you know like. Maybe not for you, but for you guys. But in Ontario, that was like the big thing is bonfires when it's that kind of time of year. And I was back for Thanksgiving, so gonna party and yeah. One of the only times I puked on my bed. One of only 2 times that I have thrown up, and it wasn't somewhere totally appropriate to puke.
Okay.
Because I woke up and it was like just everywhere on the bed around me. And my lips. It was the worst. That's the worst one of the worst wake ups I've ever had. Woke up and it was like my lips were all fucking blistered and burnt, and I puked. All I could smell was puke, and it smelled like a fucking homeless person had like thrown up because it was like fucking scotch and cigars and Scotch Keela. It was a subtle hint of tequila, but it was enough that it just made it. Unbearable. Like just thinking about it makes like when you your mouth waters. Yeah, that's just thinking about it.
Just
so like on the bad end of concoctions, that would be
right
just about the worst I can think of that I've ever personally. I wouldn't say enjoyed, but consumed.
Consume's a good word for it. Yeah, you don't necessarily.
No, I didn't enjoy a second of it.
Fran, do you have anything that comes to mind?
I didn't drink this, but I remember I think it was my first year in Vancouver, and we were having a birthday party for this one girl. A good friend of mine, Chris, was dating this one girl, Marielle. They were both my class, and her birthday, and so he was like, "We're gonna plan this big thing." Or no, wait, it was his birthday. It was one of the two's birthdays. Anyways, the one wanted to plan birthday for the other one. So we're going to have a big thing, and we're going to go out to have a nice dinner, and then we're going to come back to the apartment, and there'll be a bunch of you guys, and we'll say... And it was his birthday, because we got a big Spider-Man balloon. And say, happy birthday, or whatever. And we were partying for a while, and then I think there was like 10 to 12 of us. There wasn't a whole bunch of us. And at one point, I think... Like, it must have been me, because I don't think... Like, they didn't know how to play a lot of drinking games. Like, they didn't know how to play beer pong, and, like, the really... easy ones, but like I told them about King's Crown and or King's Cup. King's
Cup probably.
Yeah, King's Crown was a card game.
Later,
yeah, King's Cup. And so anyways, Mason had played it, but like not a lot of them knew it. So let's play King's Cup. And we just all had the like weirdest like assemblage. A lot of weird booze. Like there was wines in there and coolers and beers and like all this shit. So it's like we all had different booze and If you all know how King's Cup works, it's like you take turns, you go around a circle, and either you get eliminated or you don't get eliminated. And if you're eliminated, then you're safe. But if you're not eliminated, then each time it goes around, you have to pour a little more booze in a vat in the middle, pour a little more booze, and then the last person standing has to drink the whole thing. So yeah, it was just this, it was like rum and beer. It was just terrible things, and we were all just kept talking about how it's like whoever gets it, like nobody's gonna do it because this is the worst thing ever and it's way too much. But anyways, the girl who was throwing the party
got stuck with it.
She got stuck with it, and like and I gotta say this, yeah, her name's Marielle. She's from Mexico. She's a fucking champion amongst people. She used to sneak me into bars when I didn't have my when I wasn't of age yet, and she's super good at it. But yeah, she took it. She swiped the whole thing in one gulp. It was like a big ass bowl full of shit, and yeah, she got immediately super sick and ill, puked off her balcony, and yeah, went passed out. But I think that was the time I felt the most sorry for somebody drinking anything, because she's such a nice innocent girl, and she didn't.
Just before you talk, that just reminded me of a quick one. I wasn't actually there, but there was a party, and this may be a falsehood, but just the story of it is enough to make people. But there was allegedly a party in the Waterloo area where I went to university, where a bunch of guys got their chew spitters and they didn't make a girl, but the girl went to go do a beer bong, and they poured several chew spitters down, and
that's happened at home, but
she beer bonged. I think they said like 2 or 3 full little bottles of chew spit. Yeah, it makes you just sick just thinking about it. Anyways, what's yours?
I have 2 smaller stories, less gross, more funny. The first one, I was at a Caber River Rats game in one of their very early seasons, and a gentleman who's from home, who's a raging alcoholic. I won't mention his name or his kin. Anyway, he and I were talking. Very nice man. He and I were talking, and he came to the game, and I hadn't seen him in quite a while. And he said, "Hey, Brad, it's good to see you." He's like, "Do you want to have a drink with me?" I said, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll have a drink with you, of course." And he's he likes vodka a lot. He's really likes his vodka. And so we had a 6-pack of those really big monsters.
710 ml monsters, yeah.
So he cracked the first can and dumped half the can out and filled the half up with vodka and handed it to me. And then he did the same for himself, poured half the monster out and filled it half full of vodka.
Oh, Jesus.
And then, and he had a 66.
So that's a monster martini.
Monster-tini, yeah. Anyway, as the story goes, we finished the 66 of vodka with these 6 drinks. So there was 10 ounces a can. So I had
30 ounces.
700. So I had a liter of Monster and 30 ounces of vodka in an afternoon. 33 ounces. He probably had more than I did, I'm assuming. Like, I don't think I can drink that much. Like, I probably had 20 some, and he would have had like 30 or 40. Anyway, he drove home that night. Anyway, I went to a PG party after, and then I just laid in Kelsey's car. I couldn't go to the party. And then I just hung my head out the window and puked the whole way home. And I just covered the whole side of her car in puke. And she's like, don't. It's like I rolled my head up in the window so I wouldn't puke in her car. I did puke a little bit in the car, but like I squeezed my neck up in the window so I couldn't physically puke in the car. And I just rode like with my Adam's apple like along the window the whole way home. The other time, I think this was last year at seeding. A couple friends of the podcast and I were out checking crops. Or just, we were checking crops. The crops are not yet to be checked. But we didn't think we had any booze, and then we looked in the back, and there was like a half, maybe like 7 or 8 beer left, and a half a bottle of rye, and it was all warm. So I was like, well, let's drink Biskies. So we'd pound the neck of the bottle of beer, and then fill it with rye, and then tip her back. We were drinking warm Calgary and rye.
Oh, that makes me feel sick.
Drinking warm Biskies. Oh. And it was so bad for the first half a bottle. Then it was like, these aren't so bad, a good Biskie.
Once you get fucking liquor.
Yeah, once you're a little tight, then they're not so bad. But no, that vodka night that same gentleman, his wife drives a nicer car, and then
Oh yeah.
he said, "You take my truck home and leave your car, and then I'll leave my stuff in your car and I'll stay in town tonight." And she said, "Don't drive the car. It's a nice car." So she took his truck, and then like 15 minutes later, he got in the car to go drive home, and then he hit the ditch.
Oh, of course.
And then he walked to a farmyard, called his buddy. They brought another truck. They wrapped a chain around the front end of the car. The chain goes tight, obviously, like it's limp underneath. So they went underneath the front bumper and up under the car and tied something on. So when the chain went tight, it just carved like butter right through the body kit, like the bumper on the car. So they tried it on the back and did the same thing. So it was like multiple lines from this chain cutting through the bumper. And like they're pulling on it, the chain's whipping back and forth, and they're smashing all this car up.
Oh God.
Like a nice $40,000 or $50,000 car, like a nice vehicle.
Jesus.
But that's what happens when you drink enough vodka Monster. You kind of get.
And drive, and we don't endorse drinking and driving.
No, we certainly do not.
One or the
But
other.
I'm telling you, you can get next level behind the wheel if you're crushing vodka Monsters.
True.
Don't do it. It's awesome. Don't do it. It's awesome.
Well, I love, like, how did you guys come up with combat juice?
I didn't.
Who like, because that was like a your generation thing, though. Like,
It was, yeah. So it would have been like,
would have been Caswell.
yeah, the year before me in university would have been Combat Juice.
They came up with it.
I don't know if they came up with it, they heard it from somebody, or it was already available at the bar. I really don't know the history of it. I know the end of it, but I don't know
The Ag Boys ordering Titanics.
I don't know the origins of it. Essentially, for those of you who don't know, Combat Juice used to be a beverage you could order at Athena's, I guess Speckle Bellies on
Or Thomas the Cook.
on Central Ave, and it was a pitcher, and it had a shot of varieties of alcohol, but usually it was like gin, vodka, rye, rum,
White rum.
and then you would put a beer in, a full beer, and then orange, full can of Red Bull, and then top
Or
off
Monster.
with orange juice or Monster, and top it off with OJ.
And it was like, they're like $30 a pitcher. 20 something bucks
Yeah,
a pitcher.
27 or $28, I think. Yeah, close to $30, which is pretty good. I think you got 4 shots of beer and a Red Bull.
But they weren't overpriced by any means.
No, it was a quad and a beer
No, you
and
got-
a Red Bull and orange juice. The orange juice is free, but
Yeah. No, I remember enjoying a couple of those before I actually moved out here, before they were discontinued.
banned.
Banned, yeah.
But we did manage to get our friend who works there to make us one recently. Not that recently, but fairly recently.
Oh, really?
You were there, weren't you?
Oh, when we were there with Maddie and Evan?
No, I think it was before then.
I wasn't there.
Anyway, he let it slide.
Because I think of the people who partook in those, I think those that were there were probably the more level-headed.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. I had 9 one night and then cried.
But you didn't do anything in the bar. Like you once you
No,
left
yeah.
the bar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally level-headed. I actually can't. I can't comment on what I did in the bar. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I know that one of a friend of mine who worked for the office of Wayne Allard, which was the representative for Cypress Hills Grasslands, after the election when we were very, very drunk, called his personal phone number to congratulate him and left him this long voicemail. Like, obviously, like, yeah, we're so proud of you for doing this. So that was pretty funny. Check out Wayne on Facebook, Wayne Ellard. He is a friend of the Saskatchewan's Premier's podcast. What are we going to do when there's a new Premier?
Invite him on the
It's
show.
always Saskatchewan's Premier's podcast, but we should definitely try to get the current Premier on, because then he won't have any reason not to come.
Once he's out of office.
He ain't got a safe face anymore after that.
There's nothing that I'm sure some photo blackmail couldn't help maybe get him on this program.
No, we have it.
Right.
I
TikTok.
was gonna say, no. What is in Rain's
Jungle Juice? I have no idea, but it is bright blue
No, it's red.
nonsense water. Oh, I thought it was blue.
It's red, or maybe they changed.
I knew it was a vibrant
They used to
color.
put like, what's the red?
Curacao?
Yeah, that's what they started putting in it. They might have changed it from something, but it was like up
Did
until
they
it closed. It was like for the last year, it's been red.
Pictures of it, or
Yeah, the most hungover I've been in the
Yeah,
last.
it was combat juice
year and a half.
essentially.
Yeah,
minus the Red Bull.
It may
I
have
think
had-
it had.
may have
Yeah,
had
I
every
think
drink.
that it had. I think it had Monster in it, not Red Bull, but
It was more like a tropical drink.
Yeah, it had a fruity. I don't even know what to call it. It tasted like shit. Like I didn't like it, and I don't know if anybody else could say they liked it, but I just remember like I'd go to because I went training like 4 or 5 times the last 2 years, and like I would just go get 2 of those things, and then that's my whole night. Yeah,
I loved Combat Juice because I liked the taste of it. I loved the name. I think that's hilarious. It was going like you're going into combat. You need Combat Juice.
Yeah, you're going to war.
I remember my first wing night. You made me get Combat Juice. It got me so liquored.
It's just like if you have one of those things, you're immediately
Athena's also
hammered.
Yeah.
I still like that's so crazy to me thinking back about that, like the two and a bit months that I was here and I missed I was here for like 10 weeks and I missed 2 wing nights.
We did wings, a lot of wings.
Oh, wing night is fantastic.
Well, back when all the eggs were there, it was a great little. It was like a nice. It was between like a hardcore bar night and like just a casual.
Yeah.
And like the back then the wing deal was insane.
Yeah, it was like.
It was for $10.
$3.
For $10, you got a schooner and a pound of wings.
Right, $5 for the schooner and $3 for the wings.
$4.50 for the schooner, and
$3.50
for the wings.
Fuck.
So you get 2
like you were getting 3 beer for $4.50. The only better deal was Whiskey Jack's.
No, Whiskey Jack's, the other place. Not Whiskey Jack's. We've been over this.
Or just Whiskey's? What was it called?
No, it was. It wasn't Whiskey Jack's. Maybe actually.
It was the other Thomas the Cook anyway. Restaurant, and it was
triples for
$9 triples. Well, it was 8. It was originally $8 triples. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
$8 triples.
What?
Seven?
No, that doesn't make any sense because Bailey's outdid that on. That's highball night. It's $2.50 highballs.
Agball at Ag Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this was like you didn't have to have a membership to, like Ag Night. You're supposed to be like it's an ag sponsored event.
Yeah.
Like any Joe Blow can get the triple deal, but like you're not supposed to get the ag deal unless you're an ag student.
It's true. I mean, I think that's the best. Like the Ag Night.
Yeah, but then
I think that was the cheapest liquor I ever had.
Then you have to go to Ag Night.
Oh, I love Ag Night.
Or you have to be an agro. You're supposed to be an agro.
I just got eggs to buy my drinks
Yeah,
for
of
me.
course.
Phil and I used to go, and we did the same thing every time, and it was awesome. I would just give him all my money, and then we would just find a place to sit, and then he would just keep bringing trays back, and that's it. Just sit in the same place.
Well,
now I miss the eggs.
Here's to Ag Night. Here's to our agros.
Here's to the hole that never heals.
The longer we rubbed them, the better they felt. And all this rye this side of hell couldn't wash away their fishy smell.
Gonorrhea, syphilis, crabs, and lice. I've had them all by Jesus Christ.
So here's to the agros of 2013.
2013.
Okay. Who wants to try the blackberry?
Should we just finish off the rhubarb?
It doesn't really matter, no.
Sure, I'll try the blackberry.
This one's got quite a nice shade as well.
This one's a little bit more inviting. I like purple better.
Purple's a nice color.
Honestly, this is gonna sound really fucking lame, but one of the best parts about Laurier were the colors. Purple and gold, fucking awesome colors.
Mm-hmm. Very regal.
All the fucking merch was so awesome. One of my favorite parts. Like the schooling was bullshit. English degree, what's the fucking point?
But the colors.
The colors were sweet. And the people
that smells quite
and
nice.
the people were
Why didn't you sing us your Laurier song?
I like this one much better.
Oh, I could actually drink that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Laurier, Laurier, Laurier,
Which
Laurier.
one? It's great to be a Laurier Golden Hawk. It's great to be a Laurier Golden Hawk. That was it.
What was the Vancouver Film School chant?
We're all broke.
I hate
Oxford's brogues? Or what does he say?
Oxford's brogues. Brogues or what's the other one? Oxford's or brogues.
Oh, did you see that recent Onion article that was like shortly after like the sexual assault stuff and harassment stuff has like kind of died down, and it's like whatever the name of the guy in Clockwork Oranges has to step down as leader of the Droogs amidst sexual misconduct.
Really?
Yeah.
They're gonna make him step down.
As leader of the Droogs,
Yeah.
Holy, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Andrew Sorsdahl live on scene.
Malcolm McDowell.
Andrew, why don't you give us a little update? Andrew,
About what?
could
That's
you
the
be a
story.
storm chaser, and for how much?
Me? I don't. Doesn't really interest me.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that.
It'd be cool to see a tornado with my own eyes once.
Yeah, I mean, I had a...
Maybe being in a hurricane and trying to survive would be a fun little game. But
Yeah. Plus they have all that crazy equipment to the cars. They're super tornado proof and shit. It might be cool, I guess. I don't know.
Would you like to storm chase?
Boy, I'll tell you, these last couple years, I've never seen conditions more favorable for a tornado in my entire life at home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting, that very, very innate shift. I don't know if you guys have ever been in an extreme weather scenario like that, but at home, it was just
Well, there's that one...
there's this innate something inside you that's the caveman,
good.
we gotta get out of this fucking weather.
Well, there's in Saskatoon, remember, there's all the crazy tornado
the
warning.
crazy tornado
I
warnings.
called you guys. I'm yeah, we don't have a basement, so
I gotta
if
go.
there's a tornado, we're gonna come over there and try to survive.
Oxford's Brogues.
Yeah.
But I just remember sitting there, and Dad and I are kind of standing outside, and I'm just watching the majesty of this. When rain's coming down in sheets, in a distance, a black wall,
And you can't even see.
and
it's
the
just,
crazy clouds are starting to circle, and I'm standing there everybody who always dies in natural weather events are the fucking assholes who stand outside and just watch it happen. And I was we need to go inside, because it never happens to me. It's stuff you see on the news shit until it's happening to you, and I'm we have to take this more seriously. We have to go in the house. My dad's don't be a pussy.
There's those that amazing famous video of the guy mowing his lawn. And
Yeah, I saw.
they're
Yeah,
videotaping, and there's a tornado behind him, and he's
mowing his lawn. That was recent. That went viral. Yeah.
So fucking funny.
But I've never these last couple of years, the plow winds have been Trevor Waite lost so many bends. Our neighbor
Yeah.
pushed him, and they were anchored and pushed him right over. Upper bottom bends.
Oh my goodness! When was it that the Leverson's feeder, I think it was, got fucking destroyed?
Yeah, their elevator.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the elevator. It was the
Well, no,
thing
the
with all
leg for their bends. Yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Then that girl almost died.
What?
Which girl?
There was a girl. Well, the story got over exaggerated a lot, but essentially, this girl fell and hit her head on a beam. They had this family that was doing the repair, some contract company or whatever, and this young girl, quite young, 5 or 6, who, in my opinion, had no business being on a construction site like that, and hit her head. But then the original story was a picker truck picked the beam up and swung it into her. I'm well, she's dead then.
She's dead.
But it's not good.
Decapitated.
Children deaths.
They're dying.
It's not good.
I mean, it really depends on how you feel about overpopulation, I guess. Because death could just be a good thing if you're
A good culling. Does the world need a good culling? And is
Not gonna hurt.
climate change
It's
a
just
clandestine culling?
It's a myth perpetuated by the Chinese
Right.
to stop American industry.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, if you get all your facts from Donald Trump like I do,
Trump.com or .org?
I
any
haven't
of
been to
them,
DonaldTrump.com in a while. I gotta check that place out.
any of them, any Donald Trump anything,
Everything and anything.
it's the best. It's terrific. It's huge.
It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
I wonder. I really am curious as to what's going to happen with this recent stuff that's coming out with the stuff that's coming out with the Russia stuff now, like his former head of state or whatever.
Said that they did have contact with.
Yeah,
Russia.
it's a kind of flop back and forth, and as to whether he was actually elected yet or if he was during the campaign. So So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. Also, like the grand corruption that
Charges.
he and his daughter,
Allegations, accusations.
yeah, money laundering scheme that went through a bunch of their real estate in Russia, or I'm not sure if it was in somewhere in the not Middle East, in Eastern Europe, and it's been connected to like this dictator and like all these like just at the worst they're so incompetent that it makes them look bad, or at the best I guess they're so incompetent that it makes them look bad. At the worst, it's blatant illegal, like treasonous, borderline treasonous activity.
Speaking of the rich and powerful, it's an interesting thing. You've probably seen these videos going online about people declaring themselves to be multimillionaires or billionaires and saying that they're not in favor of Trump's tax plan. It's like, I'm a millionaire and I don't support his tax plan for the wealthy. Like, I don't need any more tax cuts. And part of me is like, that's awesome, and I hope these are not bullshit claims. But then the other half of me is like, with the poor video and audio quality, it's very difficult for me to believe that you're a billionaire. Like, you could have hired us for several $1,000s to film like a beautiful.
Yeah, but that's like not even going as far as millionaires. It's like there's so many people that are kind of high profile or like the worst ones are actors who do videos with their phones and like hold it vertically and stuff. It's like, you're in the fucking industry. Get a camera, film it. 16:9, goddamn you.
Just do it okay.
Like, why are you incompetent, you fuck?
You fuck.
It's weird.
Yeah, I think definitely that video and like content with your phone has a place, but at least, like you said, do it 16:9. Like,
don't take pictures like this.
It's like just because it looks better on your phone doesn't, like, the thing is, it doesn't even look better. It's just easier to see.
Yeah. Once again, it depends on what you're taking a picture of. Like, I mean, if it's a portrait, you want a portrait mode. But I mean, like, if you're taking a landscape, don't fucking take a landscape photograph in portrait mode. You imbecile. You
silly little gooser.
You fucking buffoon. You skooma.
Fucking troglodyte. That's one of my favorite insults that you've thrown around a couple times in the last little while.
Slack-jawed troglodyte.
Yeah.
From a future episode.
What about goblins from the future? 300 years in the future.
So anyway, we've written a script for a feature film called Tower of Mud.
Well, it's more of a series, I thought, but
it's a series of feature films.
Right.
We're planning to do 28 of them.
28 feature films.
It'll be the most ambitious
project.
Most ambitious cinematic project ever undertaken by human beings.
It's called Tower of Mud. It's about goblins in the future, 300 years in the future, who live outside of Jackson, Mississippi, in a tower made of mud.
I actually wrote that into the script.
I saw that.
I put Tower of Mud in there really casually.
Yeah. I like that.
Can Palestine and Israel get along?
No.
I don't know enough about the issue to fully be able to say. Like, I know,
absolutely not.
I know the broad strokes, but I don't know enough.
Give us your take.
It's based way too much in like a tribalism, like non-logic. So that's the thing, is like if a conflict like that is rooted so deeply in just like pure tribalism, like there will never be a
large, like, how do you
until you get maybe one day you get really lucky on both sides. There's one leader who's like crazy influential, and then is somehow able to convince everybody else, and then like that's the only way I could see it. But like the actual conflict itself is so rooted in stupidity that it's like there's nothing to be said. Like, it's just like there's nobody's right or wrong really. It's like you can see the merits on both sides. You flip flop kind of, but I mean it's just like
there's lots of neoliberal people who are like, fucking Israel is the worst. And
speaking of neoliberalism, Andrew, is the camera plugged in?
It was. There's a cord dangling from it.
Good.
I can't tell if it's still plugged in. We didn't unplug it, I don't think.
No, I'm just making sure. I can't see from the center.
There's a cord dangling through the metal.
I can't see at all. I have very, very bad vision.
I mean, like, maybe it's not recording, but that's fine.
It's plugged in.
It's definitely recording.
We should get a little mirror. Just put behind it so we can see.
See ourselves and see.
That's the thing, is like this camera of ours, If
There's
you
no
think
light.
about if you think about cameras just on a baseline, you're like, oh, you know, and it's recording because the little blinking red dot, but it's like ours has no indication as to if it's recording or not. Or I guess we could just get a monitor and flip it around.
I think the better thing would be
Or we
to
could just
get,
plug in like any one of these. We could just plug in any monitor.
Any of
really.
these TVs.
Yeah, or like
Yeah, I think we
many
should-
TVs we have.
Actually,
We
I don't.
should
It doesn't
maybe
have an
fucking-
HDMI out.
It must have a micro HDMI out.
I don't
Really?
think it does. I think it's only got that Thunderbolt port.
Really?
well, we have that for our Mac, and I have that one converter that does Thunderbolt to HDMI.
Right, definitely.
But I think the real solution is to consistently have somebody behind the camera.
Right, making sure that we look
Yes,
full in the crotch.
that's the big concern.
Todd, tell us a little bit about crotch fullness, Andrew.
I don't know if there's much to tell. You either are or you aren't
Do
full there.
penis growth pills work and
Do
why?
you have the time?
There's actually a whole documentary that I watched about.
Excellent.
a
Let's
guy.
get into it. Go ahead.
He-
Crotchfulness?
Well,
Penis pills.
he is a guy. He proposed to his girlfriend at a public setting at a basketball game, and she turned him down publicly. And
Is he
then,
the shitty little
well,
prick?
and then she said,
I gotta
"Well,
say, props on
Yeah.
that fucking chick. That's baller. That's baller to turn a dude down.
I mean, the classy move is to say yes in public and then let him down easy in private, but sure.
Fuck that guy.
Okay, and then she said,
Also, fuck that guy, because don't do that unless you're absolutely, you've already...
Unless she has said, this is the plan. I'm going to propose you publicly tonight.
Yeah.
You've already said yes. And then if you're a real baller, you're like, yep, that's the plan. And then you say no.
Yeah.
Because then you're a fucking ice queen.
But
and
apparently
that's awesome.
she said to him the reason that she dumped him or didn't want to marry him and dumped him was because his dick was too small.
really? He had a little,
Ah,
did he have a little shit prick?
you'll never bounce. You would never bounce
Well,
back from that.
he's like, oh, I've always had like a bit of self-esteem issues about that, and then when she said that, it kind of like set me off the deep end. So like he did this documentary about just about all the different methods for like penis enlargement, and he tried a bunch of them, and then like where he stopped.
Oh, I think I've seen this documentary.
Yeah, it's like-
is it the
it's-
one where he goes and
Yeah,
sees
yeah.
all his ex-girlfriends?
He talks to them as well. Yeah, he talks to his ex.
Well, the whole thing with the ex-girlfriends is he's like, well, all of them must have broken up with me because I had a small dick. But then he goes and talks to them. And they're like, no, you're kind of an asshole. He's like, was it my small dick? He's like, no, you're sort of a prick. But yeah, you have a small dick too. It's like,
Did he actually have a small
They-
dick?
Well, I mean, like I don't. He
you never
didn't
see.
show.
Do you see his dick? No, I never see his dick. He gets a girl at the end though, which is nice.
Yeah, he gets a girl. He's goes to buy a penis pump at like a sex shop, and the girl that he meets at the sex shop, who's working at the sex shop, is who he ends up taking out.
Okay, so tell me about his methods, though.
Well, he does like anything like penis pills or some it's like a weird method. It's like exercising your dick and like stretching it manually. I can't remember what it's called.
I like the Japanese.
Does he talk about
one?
the results and stuff?
None of them work. None of them.
And then he was like, the last thing is like he's gonna go do
Surgical.
surgery, but
And then it's like he has this like crisis, and he's like, "This is fucked." And I'm gonna like I want to like do surgery to make my maybe make my dick bigger. Like he just has this like kind of come to Jesus moment where he's like, "No, like this is not a thing that I should be concerned about." And
my favorite one was
Do the prick pills work, though? That's
No.
what our viewers want to know.
my favorite one was like this I think it was like there's some Asian country method where it's like you tie a string to the end of your penis like right around the head, and then you just hang weights, and then you
Well,
just stand there for a couple minutes and just let her fucking
yeah, it's
lob.
a qigong or whatever. It's a sport.
It's incredible.
Like there are monks that can like retract their balls up inside of them without tucking them, just like losing their muscles.
Holy fuck, would that be handy if you were a drag queen?
Incredible. So the pills do nothing?
None of the methods that he tried worked.
God, can you imagine if you made an actual penis enlargement, like safe, reliable penis enlargement product?
You'd be a billionaire.
How? It's like you. I mean, like,
Stem cells?
yeah.
maybe?
So you cut your dick in half, and then you.
Pumped full of stem cells.
Yeah, and then you just like fuse them. Then like you could probably get some extra length in there.
I read some Vice article about, can't remember what country it was, but they were like injecting coconut oil into their penis. And it worked,
I've heard that.
And it worked for a while. It works for like 5 years until like your dick just like rots off, basically.
Well, you're just making your dick full of oil.
Yeah, and then
It just sits there.
Then it just rots off basically after 5 years. So you get 5 years of like a bigger, better dick, but then it's gone. It rots off.
It rots off.
Literally, you get necrosis of your dick, and it starts rotting.
Yeah, what if you fucking swap the oils out, though?
How do you get the oil out again?
Just change the oil.
What do you mean?
Take it to the shop, get
Change
them to
the
drop
oil.
the bung, and then fucking fill her back up, full synthetic.
Fuck, oil change.
Slice of...
Did you guys watch Blue Mountain State ever?
I used to watch Blue Mountain State.
No, Brad's showing me some clips the other day.
It's pretty funny. One of the things that they talk, they're getting drug tested. It's about college football in the States. And yeah, the only way, he's the one character's like, yeah, the only way is to do an oil change. And they're like, what's that? And it's like, you take a not obviously without a needle, but you take a syringe, shove it up your pee hole, into your bladder, pull all of your piss out, get rid of it, take clean piss, put it back up your dick hole, pump your bladder full of clean piss. And then you do an oil change. So you have clean piss in your bladder and then piss. You pass the test.
That's not doable, I don't think.
No, it's a fucking TV show.
No, I understand. I'm just wondering. I don't think it's doable.
Well, you can
You could get a tube up into your fucking bladder because that's how they do catheters. And then and then you could pump liquid back into your bladder.
Can you imagine pumping piss into your dick?
It would. Your organs would have a fucking shit fit. Like they would not feel good about it at all.
There's a video.
And also, I guess like I feel like if you pump somebody else's piss inside of you, it would not be good. Like your body would be like.
Or you could fucking keep and refrigerate your piss.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it was your own piss, maybe. But if it was somebody else, you just go into like fucking some sort of shock.
And then like they take over. They're your voice. I am Francois now. I am Francois now. I have his piss. I'm Francois. I have his piss.
There's a video on your mom's house of a woman giving her their website. They talk about it in the show, but I didn't see that episode. But I watched this clip, and it's this woman, this hippie chick, giving herself a urine enema.
Oh,
so she talks about how it's like the spiritual experience of saving your urine and then putting it up your butt, and how it provides you some benefit.
If you do that willingly, you should have a 2 foot. Or no, sorry, that's too much. Like a 1 foot by 1 foot square of your skin torn off from your thigh, like surgically, and then grafted onto your face so that you can't see, eat, or smell anymore. That's what should happen to you if you do urine enemas. Fuck that woman and fuck her fucked upness. Fuck.
Yeah. There's no way that's good. In any way.
The last time I did it, I think it was in summer of 71.
How'd it feel?
Great.
Would you describe it as a spiritual experience?
No, I would.
How long does piss stay warm?
Like neoclassical liberalism. And see how much of that you can pound in one big gulp here.
I'm already having issues, Brad.
Why?
Because I'm having, for every one glass that you're having, I'm having like double what you're having.
How many have you drank, Sawyer? Is your second glass?
Second, yeah.
Second. 6.
We need to do one more
2
each.
more.
9.
Oh, you do not. We do one more.
3, 6, 9.
Vic, we gotta get going. We got like 10 minutes left of this podcast. Or, well, a little bit longer. 13 minutes.
Okay, let's pound these ones in and get another load up from Andrew.
You guys can do.
No, you do it. We have to do 9.
Fuck.
Ready?
Yeah.
Drive the whole fucking thing in the other.
Okay.
Fill it up and drive them in again.
Oh, hey. Well, I guess we don't really know this. Fuck, you know what we should have tried to time?
It's so carbonated.
We're going to see... No, I don't want that. Thank you. I don't want the purple one.
I know.
We're going to go see Star Wars this month. I feel like when this one comes out, we'll have already seen it, maybe. Or this might come out around the time we go and see it anyways.
This is 9. I can
tell
tell you.
the 18th. Or no.
So it'll be just
No,
after
I can
we
tell
see
you
it.
when. The one that comes out after is 8.
8.
So 9 will come out on the 17th.
We'll have seen Star Wars already.
We'll have seen Star Wars already.
It was good.
Probably. I just can't imagine it not being amazing. I have a feeling it's gonna blow my balls off. Oh.
Should we make our predictions
Like, what do you mean? It's gonna be good or not?
about what we think's gonna happen?
Oh, I don't like doing that. It makes me think. I like to like really not think about what's gonna happen in the plot of a movie because I hate the chance that I might.
That's good.
So
I hate the chance that
we
I might
know
guess right.
we know that
No,
Snoke is.
You're doing this, and I'm doing the rhubarb one. You're
Oh
doing
yeah,
this.
I read that thing
No.
to you.
I don't care. I don't care. I can't do it.
Aw. What are you doing?
He wanted to drink mine.
Why do you want to drink that one? Oh, because of the smaller glass.
Because it's literally half of the volume.
We'll just drink half that one then.
I'll
drink the other
he's
half.
got to drink the whole thing.
I'm already so fucking bloated,
See
Brad.
how much you can drive into ye.
You're such a fucking prick.
I love it.
Brad's favorite thing in the whole world is getting other people
Why is this
drunk.
so stiff? This is stiff as a board.
because
Why?
he's sweat.
No, there's no sweat here. It's
It's
just
the
like
design
whatever
of
the
it.
material is, it's fucking just stiff. Mine's soft and supple.
It's weird that this is actually like you could.
Did it? What?
I have saliva buildup from this mucus buildup from that fucking drink, but you'd think this is stitched off, but it's actually you could reach your hand all the way down to the
Yep.
poof ball.
Ooh,
Like-
Santa and his little elf and his little reindeer.
poof ball. We should maybe get some like temporary hair dye next year and dye your hair and beard white for the 12 podcast.
Yeah, we're going to next year.
Or like there's
Permanent. Yeah,
Well,
you
no,
get
no,
like the
there-
permanent dyes.
Well, shut up. There's,
Well, I'll do it
there's,
for the 12th one.
there's hair paint that you can just wash off, right? Or like not hair paint, but there's something that like will only last for a day. It would
Yeah,
come
if you
off.
go to a hair salon, they'll do it like a permanent, and then your hair will be white.
I would do my beard for the 12th one. If you did yours like green or something, I'd do mine white.
Oh, I'll bleach my hair fucking shit orange.
Shit orange.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna do my hair because you can't even see my hair really when I have the hat on. So I'll do my beard white though.
There must be a shitty temporary dye we can find.
Oh yes, of course there is.
That would look good. That would be good.
We could soak his beard in bleach. That would bleach it out to white.
It's like we grab one of the hairs, his skin just starts falling off.
The year we went to Grey Cup, in Regina, it was November, so I had my mustache going, and Swade and I both decided we're gonna just dye our mustaches green, and we couldn't find like facial hair dye. You can only find hair dye, so like it's like the bleach that you're not really supposed to get anywhere
on
near
face.
your skin, let alone your face. And luckily the girl who was doing mine did quite a good job and was able to like gently bleach and like wipe it off and like did such and
Not a professional. He was
no
a friend.
just a friend
But
of
she
a friend.
gave a fuck.
Yeah.
And you know how Swade, like, especially before.
Swade's drinking it.
Well, Swade, like,
He barely had
like
it.
his head hair. It's like hedgehog's fur.
Yeah.
And it's like his mustache is like 6 wiry hairs sticking out.
Six
And
wiry
she just caked it on like he
Bleach.
just had a green or reddy green
Well,
bleach.
the problem wasn't the paint, it was the bleach. Like she just like took a finger glove and just like she was giving him a dirty Sanchez and just like bleach across his entire upper lip. And then he's like, this hurts. And she's like, you gotta keep it on to like bleach the
burning
hair.
up chemical.
Oh yeah, you had to
His
bleach your hair first.
His
Yeah.
skin starts bubbling.
It did.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then put the paint over top. And like for Swade, poor Swade, like the paint washed off pretty. It's like it was just like a chemical burn on his upper lip. It looked so like painful. It looked so painful.
And like
I felt
he's
so
already
bad.
so ugly and it fucking
You're a prick. Swade's a good guy. I don't know why you're such a fucking dick to Swade.
Speaking of
but
chemical
painful.
burns, I don't know if I ever told the story. Years ago in grade 11, summer of grade 11 going into grade 12, I worked at a regional park right by Caber Regional Park. And
Right by Caber Regional Park.
right by Caber Regional Park, it was right next
The
to it.
second Caber's second regional park.
Caber Second Regional Park. But anyways, I remember I mostly like haul gravel, mowed lawns, trimmed hedges, fucking
Was there
cleaned the fish
is there a
sack.
resume or something you're doing?
Huh?
Are you doing your resume?
Well, so what the tasks I had to do.
2007 to 20.
What?
I thought we were doing our resumes. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm very confused.
Oh, you were just like listing an occupation and then the
Well,
different
these are
capacities.
the things I have to do.
Okay.
Just so you have an idea.
Okay.
Anyways, so I never had to clean the bathroom. There was a woman who cleaned the bathrooms. But then one day, I can't remember if she was gone or something, but my employer was like, need you to clean the bathrooms. Here's the shit she used to clean the bathrooms. Okay, sweet. I go and I clean all the bathrooms, and I'll say that women's bathrooms are fucking filthy. Like, men's bathrooms smell worse, but women's bathrooms, there's shit on the floor that I don't know what it is. And, like, it might be living, and you should be ashamed of yourself if you throw those things away on the floor like that. That was a living being at one point. But anyways, women's bathrooms, filthy. Anyway, so I'm cleaning all these bathrooms with all this shit. And then
You're
the
cleaning
next...
them with shit?
With shit. I'm cleaning it with actual human shit. Anyways, the next day I wake up, and I wake up and I look at my hands, and the skin has, like, literally, like, peeled to, like, little sort of, like, clumps at the end of my fingers and stuff, and, like, dry and white, and, like, just super pink raw. Like, my hands just fucking hurt. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I, like, go to my dad, and I'm like, look at this. He's like, holy shit. It's like you have a severe like, you're, like, it's gonna eat into your hand. Like, what's happening? So we go, and, like, he washes my hands with shit, and, like, gets it off, and, like, I go to my employer, and I'm like, what did you give me to clean these bathrooms? He's like, oh, I found this new stuff. And, like, I mixed it together, and that's what he was like, what is it? He's like, oh, I can't remember. I have it back in the shed again. He just gave me some chemical he found, mixed it with some water, and they gave it to me, and, like, almost burned my hand. Like, so bad. Anyways, yeah, I had super tender hands for, like, a week after that it's like I couldn't, like, touch things because it hurt so bad.
Just another thing for Suede. Anyway, if you go to Ageless Acres in Scepter, there's this cat that I think you should take a look at. His name is Cyrus. He's a little black cat.
Scepter?
Yeah, he's 11 years old. He's a black cat.
Holy fuck.
And if you look, they have him on his site there, but if you go on there, you'll find one of his favorite activities is spying on his peeps. And I think that that's really interesting to note because...
I feel so bad right now. Making me drink all this fucking colors. Oh god. Go ahead and talk
You
about
wanted to get a third one, remember?
You're right. Yeah, I thought it was if it was a team thing. If we were all like this, would be.
We're all drinking it.
You're not drinking like considerably more than we are.
Let's see. Drink yours, and we'll see how much of mine fits into your glass.
It's just like now I've drank more than you.
No.
Yeah.
That's your third one? Now, if that's exactly
It won't be the same, obviously.
if that's exactly a half, then Andrew will still drink more than you.
Yeah, it's about a half. It's about literally double. So you can literally take a step back and fuck your own face.
So Andrew still drank one more glass than you. Ugh. I'm trying to think of...
There's some dregs there.
And your glass still has shit in it.
No, it doesn't.
Really? Yeah, it
It's
does.
crap.
Yeah, I just saw a little bit
Here,
of a reflection. Oh.
Hey, fuck.
It's not that much more. It's not going to be double. It's literally going to be... Fuck you.
You barely even fucking touched that one. Rolling your head.
Yeah,
I've already done two.
That's what I said. Is like he's already drank more than you without even touching that one. I mean, now,
Like,
now
after
not.
two of these, I drank the same as both of you combined.
I mean, like now. I mean, after you chugged like a quarter of both of those, I think you're ahead. But
No, because he's still only done 1.5 of this, and I've done...
no. He did 3 of those. So and you did. But I'm just saying you did 2 of those. So like you did 4. He did 3. But he probably just drank like 2 or 3.
But these are
by chugging those.
These are half of this.
That's what I'm saying. So like
So
he
three-
did
so
3
three
of
of
those,
those
and you had done 2 of these, so
which is
that's
more.
4. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. So you had done 4, he done 3. But you are now about halfway done that one, so that gives you 5. But I mean, he just drank a quarter of
6.
both of those, which would be half of 5 or 6. So he's a bit ahead of you now.
By the end, we'll be.
If you drink that, you'll be like more equal. Yeah. Are you gonna start? Close your eyes and start rotating your head.
I was waiting to see how long it took for you guys to notice what was going on over here. So Cyrus is a good kitty.
Yeah, he's a good cat. And he likes spying on his peeps.
Does that mean chickens? Or
I wish I
people,
would have
or-
fucking pounded that right out of that fucking jug.
Wish you hadn't.
Yeah, it's so fucking.
It's so carbonated.
It's fucking so carbonated. Andrew will eat old fucking clove of garlic.
And we got to do this. Like this is just one part of the. Are we gonna go longer? Do you think in this year's 12th podcast? Do you think we'll go over? Because I think it was like what 3 hours or a little bit last time.
This one won't be as bad.
I think it'll be 2.5 hours.
Oh, because we'll have 2 people helping us, right?
I hope.
just
Hopefully, if
one?
we can schedule it. I hope.
Swade
We haven't
really
tried
also
scheduling
wants
yet?
to be on number 12, but I don't think we can. Well, they're just like, we don't know when we can schedule it. So
Oh,
We have to wait till after they are done in Toronto.
when do we know when they're done?
also, like the last one had a lot of shots of hard alcohol, which was this one doesn't.
But I
the
think
shots
that-
are quick though.
But it's more alcohol.
But I'm just saying, it's like I feel like doing shots is easier because it's like you do it and then you can continue. Whereas like
Yeah, but we
drinking
did,
like takes such a long time.
But we did like so much Jaeger last year. It's 40% alcohol, and we did so many of them.
But for me, it's got it
Well,
has
Kelby
less
just-
to do with
Kelby
the
just
percentage.
stopped
It's just
at a
like
certain
the
point-
speed at which you can actually get
At a
through
certain
it.
point, Kelby just stopped and only did Jaeger bombs.
Did he?
Yeah.
The other thing is like, I don't know if it's at the speed at which you can consume. It's
Thank
more like
God-
we got
wait.
so fucked up that we kept talking and totally forgot.
Thank God we're not doing Smirnoff Ices this year. I don't know what it is about Smirnoff Ices, but they make my stomach rot. Like
This
it hurts
fucking shit
so
is doing
bad.
that to me.
I'm actually this is doing fun.
It's funny because I remember we were like deciding who was going to do what drinks, and Francois was like, "I don't want to do any of the rum and eggnog or any of the paralyzers, but I'll do like all of the Smirnoff Ice."
I would rather do Smirnoff Ice than do milk because like
Yeah, I
milk
get
like
it.
my
I
milk
get it.
like playing the long game. Smirnoff Ice makes me feel like death
Now.
right now, but it's like it's I think it's just carbonation and like whatever, and then it fizzles out. But like I would have been a fucking pukey shit-y mess if I would have done all that milk.
Well, we did still puke, but
I would really like to get to a place in my life where I really don't drink the rest of the year, and then this is when I drink. Like that would be like a nice goal.
It is good because it is kind of like a whole month, so it's kind of like a nice splurge. I mean, it is nice. It would be nice for that holiday season. Like that's a nice drinking holiday season. I mean, hopefully one day we can film these in the month of December because it'll be like live and we'll have other people helping us. We don't have to film them all like way in advance. So it would make December this really nice like holiday month.
Today. Anyway, thank you so much for joining
we're
us.
almost. Are you done? Finished yours, friend?
Yeah.
All the other stuff is all done. It's all been finished. Here's to Andrew Claus. We know it's him because he's jolly all year long.
You better watch out.
Bask in his glory and greatness, for he has awakened us to all the joy and love. Peace be upon you in the
You're just making this up off the top of
No,
your
I gotta say it's holding together way better
of hope.
than I thought it would. Like the
Because-
lyrics sort of make sense, but
I
it's
wish Brad had some musical talent because
like, but rhyming wise, like
one of those things that's important,
stanza.
most
The
impressive things.
man in the hat.
Music improv is very impressive. So if Brad actually had any musical talent, seeing him his improv, his like, Brad, what are the first 3 things that you can think of right now? Go.
Ukrainian needle nose pliers, forceps. Two types of tools. That's no
And
good.
the Ukrainian thing is no good. It was too. It's too easy.
Sometimes it's good.
You like the Ukraine too much. You like that region
Eastern
of
Europe.
the world too much. No, there are certain types of random that for you are not random.
Yeah.
Ukraine is one of those things that like
That's
the
just-
needle nose plier, like that was great, but like
I love that one Frad review where we had Brad do the little thing at the end. Yeah, check out my show. We talk about various lengths of wire.
that was one of the best ones because it was like, and the ways that light. I can't remember like
It was so
the
good.
light thing, the various speeds of light.
At which light can travel.
Speeds at which light could travel. Various lengths of wire.
That one was very good. I gotta watch that actually. We're gonna watch that right after the podcast. I might actually maybe we splice that into the end of this episode. All right, thanks very much for tuning in. We'll see you on episode 10. Definitely, if you're gonna check out any episode, check out episode 12. It's gonna be a fucking blowout.
Or any of the ones with our guests, I would say.
Definitely check out the ones with our guests.
Watch them
they're
all.
very good. They're actually very like insightful, and there's actual information.
Next episode, we
unlike
have
when we're by ourselves.
the incredibly talented Paul Kuzbik.
Is that 10? Is that...
That's
This is
10.
9, 10, 10. That's 10?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, yeah, definitely check that one out. He's a cool guy to
We got
lot
Paul.
of
I'm
insight.
sure is going to bring lots of good conversation.
I'm sure he will when he comes
in the
on the
future,
show
yeah.
later. Thanks very much for watching.
Bye now,
We'll
guys.
see you later.